गुरवे गौरचन्द्राय राधिकाय तदालये कृष्णाय कृष्णभक्ताय तद्भक्ताय नमो नमः। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायणं नमस्कृत्यं नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरये। नष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तमश्लोकिर्भक्तिर्भवती नैष्टिकी। कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकी नंदनाय च नंदगोपकुमाराय गोविंदाय नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे. Recording in progress. Dear devotees, you are all welcome for continuity of our Bhakti Vedanta study of 10th Canto Srimad Bhagavatam. We are discussing the 9th chapter, Damodar Leela. It is the climax of Vatsalya or parental mellows. And we are starting from verse number 5 today. So, first 5 verses describe Mother Yashoda personally churning the yogurt for Krishna. And when she was churning the yogurt, Krishna was sleeping. But in the meantime, he woke up and he listened the sound of churning and reached to that place and stopped the action of churning by holding the churning rod. And Yashoda became very pleased, happy that my son is intelligent and he has also strength. And Krishna, he developed a desire to have mother's milk. So now what happens? There is verse 5. Tamang kamarodham apayata sthanam snehas snuttam sasmittamikshate mukham atriptam utsarjaya javena sayaya उत्सिच्यमाने पश्यसि त adhishrite. Tam means unto Krishna. Tam ankam arudya. Krishna on his own climbed onto the lap of Mother Yashoda. Why? Apayat sthanam. He wanted to have breast milk. And breast milk, that was sneh sunitam. It was already coming out spontaneously and getting the cloth wet. And then Krishna made effort to climb on the lap of mother, and mother gave the breast for feeding. So Mother Yashoda is giving milk for the baby to drink. And baby is giving sasmitam ikshati mukham. And Krishna was smiling, and Mother Yashoda was relishing that beautiful smile of Krishna. So mother was giving milk, and Krishna was giving smile. Time of close bound of relation, close bond of relation between the mother and the newborn baby. Among thousands of ladies, baby identifies the face of mother, and among thousands of babies crying, mother identify the cry of her own baby. This feeding, breastfeeding to the baby by mother, the all sanskaras, the familial traditions, culture, everything is going from mother to the child. And this bond is very, very important. And this wonderful exchange was going on of deep motherly love of Yashoda and Krishna's relishing the mother's milk. He said, well, I want my mother's milk because mother is the only relation whose blood transforms into milk because of her deep love. No other relation can have that love as mother has. But at that time, utsarja javena sa yayo atriptam. At that time, you know, Yashoda was looking in the face of Krishna. Krishna was oftentimes again and again smiling and looking in the face of Yashoda. In many classes, in my personal way of fun, I tell that today's mothers are not feeding babies their breast milk, and the common method is giving a bottle milk. So when baby is sucking bottle, he's looking at the bottle and smiling. They say, "This is my mother. She's giving me life." And this bottle culture continues. By the age of 12 to 15. He wants to have soft drink bottles, Coca-Cola, Pacola, and by reaching 20, he needs the liquor bottle because he has a developed relation with bottle, and these bottles destroy his health so much so that by the age of 50 he is in hospital and with a glucose bottle, and he is looking up, oh, my mother has gone up, so I must go up. So this is the wrong modern days bottle feeding's disadvantages, and bottle culture is quite prevalent. So there is also something you see on the road, drishti hati, durghatna ghati. If your vision is little sideline, there is a possibility of accident. So as long as Mother Yashoda and Krishna was, Mother Yashoda's vision was in Krishna, there was all blissful exchange. But as soon as she heard the sound of overspilling, spilling, overspilling milk which was boiling on a stove. And that sound, she immediately turned her vision from baby Krishna towards the milk. And this milk which was boiling is also transcendental. It's not ordinary milk. This milk was thinking, well, mother's milk will never exhaust, and Krishna will never finish drinking. So why I am doing so much austerity on the fire? He's not going to test me, so better I should do suicide. So he jumped into the fire. But Mother Yashoda is a great devotee of Krishna. Anything which is related to Krishna, she has to preserve for the service of Krishna. Only you can please Krishna by pleasing and helping the devotee of Krishna. This milk is also a great devotee of Krishna. So she wanted to immediately go and save that milk which was overspilling. But Krishna was on the lap. This question is, why can't she carry it? So she was going too fast and she was going near to the fire, and it was not safe for the child. So she put the child down on the earth. And Krishna was atriptam, he was not satisfied. The Krishna who is Atma Ram is always satisfied. He developed desire and then he become greedy, he is not satisfied. And mother left. She quickly, pull out the burning wood and put some water on the top of the milk, and milk become ashamed. He said, milk was thinking, I have put it, I was the cause of distraction between the quite wonderful exchange between mother and son. So he was ashamed and he just went back into the pot. But Krishna, he was saying, in one of my farm, I sleep in milk ocean. I gave up milk ocean. I came to become the son of this cowherd mother. And for 2 kilo milk, she has thrown me down, and I am too hungry. So I will show what I can do. So, Utsityamane pashyati sa adhishre. So, Yashoda left the Krishna there, and then she left. Now we are reading the meaning. Mother Yashoda then embraced Krishna on her lap, allowed him to sit down on her lap, and began to look upon the face of the Lord with a great love and affection. Because of her intense affection, milk was flowing from her breast. It's not Krishna has to make endeavor, it was just coming. And Krishna was smiling and looking at the mother, and a good exchange was going on. But when the Yashoda, saw the milk pan on the oven was boiling over, she immediately left her son to take care of the overflowing milk. Although the child was not yet fully satisfied, atriptam, with drinking milk of his mother's breast. Srila Prabhupada writes, everything in household affairs of Yashoda was meant for Krishna. It means that milk which was also for Krishna. Although Krishna was drinking the breast milk of Mother Yashoda, when she saw that milk pan in the kitchen was overflowing, she had to take care of it immediately. And thus she left her son, who then became very angry. So when you have a desire, and when desire is not fulfilled, and then you become greedy, and greed is not fulfilled, then you become angry. So not having been fully satisfied with drinking the milk of her breast, sometimes one must take care of, now Prabhupada is writing, Yashoda, sometime one must take care of more than one item of important business for the same purpose. The purpose is to serve Krishna, and business is to feed him, to churn the butter, and also to save the milk which was boiling. Therefore, Mother Yashoda was not unjust when she left her son to take care of the overflowing milk. So Krishna was not happy, it was not favorable for Krishna. And therefore, Mother Yashoda left Krishna there. But this does not exclude her from the topmost bhakti, because what she was doing was saving the another devotee who was the servant of Krishna, the boiling milk. She thought, my milk is my milk, I can give it in any time to my son, but that milk I have to save. So on the platform of love and affection, it is the duty, means here Yashoda, to do one thing first and the other thing later. The proper intuition by which to do this is given by Krishna. So Krishna inspired Mother Yashoda, and then Srila Prabhupada quotes, Tesham Satyuktanam Bhajatam Priti Purvakam Dadami Buddhi Yogam Tam Yenamam Upayanti De. In Krishna consciousness, this is a personal application. In Krishna consciousness, everything is dynamic. Krishna guides the devotee in what to do first and what to do the next on the platform of absolute truth. So among the dealing of pure devotees is very difficult to understand, because they are guided by Krishna what to do first and what to do the next. So Yashoda was inspired from inside Krishna to save the milk, but outside angry. So Yashoda is not, you know, Krishna was not pleased, it was not favorable, but still it was for the pleasing Krishna. So she is still the topmost motherly Vatsalya Ras devotee. Chakravarti writes, oh, how intelligent this child is, Yashoda is thinking. Saying this, Yashoda stopped churning and put Krishna on her lap to feed him her breast milk. But why did Mother Yashoda suddenly get up and leave? She got up to attend to the milk boiling over the stove. But how could Yashoda show so much interest in boiling milk that she left the Krishna unsatisfied and hungry? Yashoda was so concerned for what Krishna would eat and drink that she could temporarily ignore Krishna. Only those under the sway of prema, deep love, can understand or talk about remarkable action of one impelled by pure love for Krishna. No one else can understand these matters. Laghu Vaishno Toshni, her smile spread over her cheeks, Yashoda. She smiled because of the milk flowing spontaneously and because of his sweetness. Krishna was sweet, and her love was making milk to come out spontaneously. She looked at his face of Krishna, but then put him down, looked on face, and he was smiling. Then put her down, though he was not yet fully satisfied. Why did she not go while feeding him and holding him? She was going quickly. If she held him, she could not go quickly, number one. The milk was boiling over. It should be understood that the kitchen was not far away, within sight. Milk, like the yogurt, was special. She left him for a moment only. यद धाम अर्थ सुहृत प्रियात्मः तन्यः प्राणाश्रयः त्वत् कृते These devotees of Vrindavan have dedicated their homes, wealth, friend, dear relations, baris, children, and every lives and hearts to you, Krishna. Brahma is saying. How much more then had Yashoda given everything to Krishna? Not tolerating any suffering of their son, the mother and father work constantly for his future health, wealth, and knowledge. They also fed him medicine, bathe him, and punish him. The height of the affection that a mother and a father have for their son is difficult to find in other types of love. It does not exist elsewhere. She was thus intensely attached to the wealth of milk of the cowards. The child does not know how to protect his health, his wealth, therefore protect it now. Thinking thus, she put him down, but her going was for his sake also, filled with affection for him. Though one tolerates suffering to protect one's wealth, there must be a strong affection to do so. Similarly, motivated by strong affection for Krishna, she tried to protect the milk. Verse number 6. Now, he had a desire, then he was unsatisfied, then he became angry, and now here is the anger. Sanjata kopa spurutta aruna adhram. Now he become angry, and his red lips spurita aruna adharam. He become angry, and spirit they were querying lips. Sandasya dadi dadi manta bhajanam bhitva mrisha ashro drasham ashmanaraho jaghasayangavam antaram gata. So what he did is here, being very angry and beating his reddish lip with his teeth, he become angry. Anger is a mode of passion. So red lips are mode of passion. And his teeth, they are white, Brahmans, mode of goodness. So he was trying to control the passion by goodness, but he could not. Krishna, with false tears in his eyes, broke the container with the piece of stone. Nearby there was a stone for crushing these spices. He very intelligently hold the say some noise making bangles in his hand, and that part of the part which was full lower part, he just made a hole there. So false tears in his eyes broke the container of yogurt with the piece of stone. Then he entered the room, next room. The word is jaghas. This Ashma means with a stone he broke. He went to the solitary place to eat what? He said, I'm hungry, I will show mother. Then he entered a room which was next door and began to eat the freshly churned butter which was from next day in the solitary place. Because now butter churning was going on. It is natural that when the child becomes angry, he can begin crying with false tear in his eyes. So Krishna did this, and beating his reddish lips with his teeth, he broke the pot with a stone entered a room and began to eat the freshly churned butter. Though it was useless, Mirsha Ashru, false tears. Krishna shed tears as this is the nature of a small child. Krishna used a stone, Drishad Ashmana, Ashmana means stone, to make the hole in the pot without making any sound. Then he went into the another room and ate the butter made from the previous day's milk, Hayan, Hayan, Hayangavam. So his display of anger described the special sweetness of his infant pastime filled with affection for his mother. His pastime was real, since emotion aroused within his mind and his actions were performed in private, not displayed for others to see, so they were natural. His tears were useless from a mature viewpoint, but were natural to his infancy. Bhatti, maybe some commentator, has written a verse and that says, he did not see her face. His senses were useless. Or sometime Krishna fakes crying, but today the tears were real, Amrisha, because he was unsatisfied. With a stone not making any noise, he made a small hole in the pot and then went into the storeroom, which was next door. And he ate butter taken from the first churning of the previous day's cow milk. He was angry because of being left alone and because he was not satisfied with drinking her milk. He ate butter from the hanging pot. He took a mortar, turning it upside down, and climbed on it. He ate because he was hungry or out of anger. Verse number 7. Now we're coming back to the Yashoda, what she did. Utarya gopi sushritam paya puna. She saved the milk, took it down. Praveshya sandrashya chadadi amrtakam. She came back to the place where she was churning, and what she saw was the broken pot. Bhaganam broken. Vilokya observing. Swasutasya karamata. Oh, she immediately thought, this is the naughty work of my son. Jahas, and she was smiling. Tam chapi natatra pashyati, and she could not find baby there. She put the Chakravarti parts right, she put a hand on the nose and was smiling. Mother Yashoda, after taking down the hot milk from the oven, returned to the churning spot. And when she saw that the container of the yogurt was broken and that Krishna was not present, she concluded that the breaking of the pot was the work of Krishna. Seeing the pot broken and Krishna not present, Yashoda definitely concluded that the breaking of the pot was the work of Krishna. There was no doubt about this. After removing the hot milk from the stove, Yashoda returned to the churning spot. There she saw sturdy, shiny yogurt pot lying broken on the floor. Out of sympathy for its sorry state, because amatrakam ka, Yashoda concluded that this was definitely a work of her son. Touching her forefinger to her nose, she started laughing. So naughty. Yeah, for a moment, he did so much. Then she was actually feeling little afraid that he might leave the home. It's early morning, he is hungry, so she was worried and she was looking for. And what she saw her foot mark on the spread half-churned yogurt. And at this time he is of age almost 3 years. So there are the signs of the flag and uh, the thunderbolt and the barley seed and Sudarshan Chakra and all these. She saw those things on the floor. Shushrutam means well cooked. When the milk was cooked, so she safe. She saw the broken part and understood that he had done it. Krishna has done it. Since no one else would do that, since the whole was made skillfully, and since it was possible that he was angry. But not seeing him there, she left because of his fickle nature, his skill in breaking the pot, and his running away in fear. And because of the sound of moving parts in the next room, and his ankle bell in the next room. So these are couple things she was laughing for because of 5 things. Brother Vaishnav Toshani, she immediately took the milk from the fire. Okay, this is the same thing almost. Not seeing him, she laughed because it displayed his fickle nature, his skill in breaking, same thing, because he had fled in fear. She quietly pursued him on her tiptoes, but she was going without making noise. Verse number 8. Ulkholangrihi upari vyasistitam. He took the pot outside of the room and putting the spice grinding mortar upside down and sitting on the top of that. Marakaya kamam dadatam sichi sitam. Marakaya means monkeys, and was feeding butter also to the monkey. Hayangavam chauryaha vishankintakshanam. And he was looking here and there out of fear because he has done he has broken the pot, so he has done the mistake. Niriksha Paschat Sutamag, and Yashoda saw him sitting there. So she was coming without making sound on tiptoes. Krishna at that time was sitting on an upside down wooden mortar for grinding spices and was distributing milk preparation such as yogurt and butter to the monkeys as he liked. Because of having stolen, he was looking all around with great anxiety, suspecting that he might be chastised by his mother. Mother Yashoda, upon seeing him, very cautiously approached him from behind. Mother Yashoda was able to trace Krishna by following his butter smeared footprints. She saw that Krishna was stealing butter and thus she smiled. Meanwhile, the crows also entered the room and came out in the fear. The mother Yashoda found Krishna stealing butter and very anxiously looking here and there. Yashoda found Krishna by following his butter smeared footprints and hearing the jingling sound of his vest bells and the noise in the other room. By these things she found where is Krishna. Surmising that Krishna was eating butter, Yashoda's face broke into a smile. A few seconds later, she decided to go into the room. But by that time, Krishna had gone out the back door into the yard. There Krishna sat cross-legged on the top of an upside-down wooden mortar for grinding spice due to the fear of crows and other animals. The verse describes this. After stealing the butter pot hanging from the ceiling of the storehouse, Krishna brought it there. He was afraid of being beaten by his mother for having stolen the butter. So he was anxiously looking hither and thither and looking for the path of escape. Seeing Krishna from inside the house by craning her neck, Yashoda then very cautiously and silently approached him from behind so that Krishna could not see her and that she could catch him in her hands. But Krishna is son of the same mother, is more smart. So he will jump from the murder and run away. From the fear of the crows and other animals, he sat in the swastika asana, cross leg, on an overturned murder. After going into the storeroom and eating some butter, he took the part which had been hanging from the rope, indicating his cleverness, and went behind the house by the back door to a solitary place to fool the mother. His mother approached him behind, so he could not see him. The singular marka. Marka is used to represent the class of the monkeys. Now there is sometime when marka means monkey is in singular. Some acharya feel like this, that this is Hanuman coming there. But when they are plural, it means many monkeys. When he goes outside, many are coming. But in his own house, when he's doing, the only one monkey is there. But here, Sanatana Goswami is saying one monkey is singular, means this is the class. It means a monkey means a group of monkeys. Now verse number 9. Oh, because she saw monkeys, she saw crows, so she had a stick in the hand, yastim. Yastim means stick. Tanat yastim parasamiksha sattva stavaras. When Krishna, when Tam means Mother Yashoda, when Krishna saw Mother Yashoda with a stick in her hand and she is coming on tiptoes without making sound, he just by the corner of the eyes he saw that. So very quickly, stavars, tato avarohya pasara bhitva, as if he is afraid, he jumped from there and ran. Gopi anavadhavan, and gopi is also dhavan means running behind. Na yamapa yoginam, the yogis cannot go even in a trance to reach to the super soul in the heart. This gopi is running behind Krishna. Kshamam praveshtum tapeshwarim manah. Oh, by their mind, these great austere yogis cannot reach, but she wanted to catch the source of Paramatma. When Sri Krishna saw his mother stick in hand, he very quickly got down from the top of the model. It's called ukhal. Khal means actually, khal means khala. Khal are the notorious persons. So she thought it's no good association. My son is not in good association. So top from the model and began to flee as if very much afraid, though he is not afraid. Although yogis try to capture him as Paramatma by meditation, desiring to enter into the effulgence of the Lord with great austerities and penance, they fail to reach him. But Mother Yashoda, thinking that same personality of Godhead, Krishna, to be her son, began following Krishna to catch him. Now from here you can have a little small note different between the yogis and devotees, which will come in couple verses, 3-4 verses per part. Yogis, mystics, want to catch Krishna as Paramatma, and with great austerities and penance they try to approach him, yet they cannot. Here we see, however, that Krishna is going to be caught by Yashoda and is running away in fear. This illustrates the difference between the bhakta and yogi. So this is the topic, what is the difference between bhakta and yogi? And this is in 3 verses, at least I think 3 purports. So you make a little note of this. The yogis cannot reach Krishna, but for a pure devotee like Mother Yashoda, Krishna is already caught. Krishna was even afraid of Mother Yashoda's stick. This was mentioned by Queen Kunti in her prayers. Bhaya bhavanayaya stitasya. Because on that day, it was the Diwali day, so Kunti has a relation with Rohini, with Yashoda. So she came and she saw this with her own eyes. Krishna is afraid of Mother Yashoda and yogis are afraid of Krishna. This should also go in the difference. Yogis are afraid of Krishna, but and Krishna is afraid of Mother Yashoda. Hare Krishna. Is everybody along with me? Is okay? Yeah, I'm just remembering your joke. I'm remembering joke. The husband was saying, my wife is afraid of cockroach. And then she said, cockroach is afraid of rat. Then he said, rat is afraid of cat. Then he said, cat is afraid of dog. And then he said, dog is afraid of me, but I am afraid of my wife. So from cockroach it goes like this. So yogis are afraid of Krishna and Krishna is afraid of Yashoda. Okay. Krishna is afraid. Okay. Yogis try to reach Krishna by gyaan yoga and other yogas. Gyaan yoga, dhyan yoga. But fail. Yet Mother Yashoda was a woman. Krishna was afraid of her, as clearly described in this verse. Chakravarti Pad writes, Yashoda held a stick in her hand to instill fear in Krishna. He is described as a very much afraid Bhitavat, because he understood that the great affection of his mother, although internally Krishna had no fear. Or it can mean that Krishna stood up and fled in a fearful manner. Queen Kunti said in the Srimad Bhagvatam, Gopya dade tvai krita gasi dam tavad yate dashashrishu kalila anjanaha sambhrahmaksham bhaktaram ninaya bhaya bhavaya stitasya sa mam vimohyati bhi api yada bibheti. O Krishna, the Yashoda took up a rope to bind you when you committed an offense, Kirtagasi. Aga means sin, Kirta means done. And your perturbed eyes overflowed with tear, which was the massacre from your eyes. You were afraid, though fear personified is afraid of you. This side is bewildering me, Kunti Maharani. Yashoda, Gopi, chased her son, who can never be attained, na yam aap, even by the great mystic and yogis, who perform austerities and penances, and meditation, manaha, to enter Brahma. This point is made clear in verse 21. Nayam sukhapo Bhagavan. Bhagavan Sri Krishna is not easily attainable by yogis and others. He went to the door in front to trick his mother. He thought, I will go out of the house and she will not come outside. The mind of the yogis who have merged in the Brahma cannot attain him by austerities inspired by him. He saw her vividly. Krishna saw Yashoda Parasam Ikshai, clearly he saw, because she held a stick in her hand. It was impossible that she could have a stick to punish him, and he had never seen this before. He looked around to understand the situation and then fled. To fool her, he ran to the main gate of the house, where many people gathered near the Yamla Arjun tree. He only appeared to be afraid. Bhitavat is not afraid. Appeared to be afraid. Bhitavat, just like afraid. Since he had no real fear internally, because he knew his mother had the greatest affection for him, or he showed fear like that of others. This act revealed to his mother the sweetness of infant pastime. Knowing that on that day everyone had gone from the main gate, she chased him. Usually she will never go out. Today nobody was there, so she also chased behind him out of the gate. Though the mind in samadhi is capable of merging with Brahm or another form of the Lord, is impelled towards him with concentration, tapassa, it cannot be achieved. It cannot achieve him. This will be made clear later. Nayam sukhapo bhagavan dehinam gopika sutta jnaninam cha adhbhutanam yatha bhakti matam iya. Krishna, the son of Mother Yashoda, is accessible to devotees engaged in spontaneous loving service, but is not so easily accessible to mental speculator or those striving for self-realization by severe austerities and penance, or to those who consider the body the same as the soul. Yashoda pursued him and caught up to him step by step. Anu. So much for her good fortune of having him sleep on her lap. Her good fortune of chasing him when he fled cannot be understood at all by the greatest yogis. She had greater fortune than all other devotees because she was able to catch him directly, not in meditation. Verse 10. Avanchamana janani bhrakka chalit. Now Sukadev, seeing Krishna running and Yashoda behind, he is in favor of Krishna. He thought Krishna should not be caught. So he is saying, Yashoda having a thin waist, heavy breast, so she cannot run so fast. Shroni harakranta gati sumadhyama, so she cannot go so fast. Javena, she was running. Vishamalansa kesha bandhan, her hairs were undone. Chuta prasona anugatta pras paramrishat, and the beautiful, the multi-flower which fell during churning, also some were left. She said, oh, those flowers, they thought she is going behind Krishna, running behind Krishna. So it is not good for us to stay on her head. We should just follow in her footsteps. So they were going behind. While following Krishna, Mother Yashoda, her thin waist overburdened by her heavy breast, naturally had no to reduce her speed. Because of following Krishna very swiftly, her hair became loose and the flower in her hair were falling after her. Yet she did not fail to capture her son Krishna. Yogis cannot capture Krishna by severe penance and austerity, but Mother Yashoda, despite all obstacles, was finally able to catch Krishna without difficulty. This is the difference between the yogis and bhakta. Yogi cannot enter even the effulgence of Krishna. Yasya prabha prabhato jagatanda koti kotisho. In that effulgence, there are millions of universes, but yogis and gyanis cannot enter that effulgence even after many, many years of austerities, whereas bhakta can capture Krishna simply by love and affection. This is the example shown here by Mother Yashoda. Krishna therefore confirms that if one wants to capture him, one must undertake devotional service. Bhaktya mam abhijanati yavan yasyasmi tattvata tato mam tattvato gyatva vishate tadanantaram. Bhaktas, devotees enter even the planet of Krishna very easily, but the less intelligent yogis and jnanis, by their meditation, remain running after Krishna. Even if they enter Krishna's effulgence, they fall down. Chakravartipad writes, one should not think that just as the yogis cannot catch Krishna, neither could Mother Yashoda. This verse explained that Yashoda's hair came undone, and the flowers in her hair fell behind her, as if they were following her. Yashoda caught Amrishat, Krishna from behind Para. Though having a large, heavy body, she quickly caught him. She caught him from behind with great affection, since she was his mother. Now, the dialogues between mother and son. Kirdagasam tam parudantam akshani. Kirtagas, because he has done offense. Tam means Krishna. Parudantam, he was crying. Akshani, and he was both eyes. He was one hand. Mother has caught hold of one hand. With one hand, he is trying to touch to the eyes. Kashantam anjana mashni swapanina. Swapanina means by his own hand. Anjan means massacre. Mashni means he was rubbing. Udvikshamanam bhaya vehvalakshanam, and he was, his eyes out of fear was looking here and there. Haste grahita, and mother has caught hold of his one hand. Bhishyanti avagurat, now she's chastising him. Avagurat means mildly chastising. When caught by Mother Yashoda, Krishna became more and more afraid and admitted to being an offender. As she looked upon him, she saw he was crying, his tear mixing with the black ointment around his eyes, and he rubbed his eyes with his hands. He smeared the ointment all over his face. Mother Yashoda, catching her beautiful son by the hand, mildly began to chastise him. From these dealings between Mother Yashoda and Krishna, we can understand the exalted position of the pure devotee in loving service to Krishna, to the Lord. Yogis, Jnanis and Karmis and Vedantists cannot even approach Krishna. They must remain very, very far away from him and try to enter his bodily effulgence. Although this also they are unable to do. Great demigods like Brahma and Shiva always worship the Lord by meditating and by service. Even the most powerful Yamaraj fear Krishna. Therefore, we find in the history of Ajamil, Yamaraj instructed his follower not even to approach the devotees, what to speak of capturing them. In other words, Yamaraj and also fear Krishna and Krishna's devotees. Yet this Krishna becomes so dependent on Mother Yashoda that when she simply showed Krishna the stick in her hand, Krishna admitted to being an offender and began to cry like an ordinary child. Mother Yashoda, of course, did not want to chastise her beloved child very much, and therefore she immediately threw her stick away. That will come in next verse. And simply rebuked Krishna, saying, "Now I shall bind you so that you cannot commit any further offensive activities, nor for the time being can you play with your playmates. Two things. This shows the position of pure devotee in contrast with the others like Jnanis, Yogis, and the followers of the Vedic ritualistic ceremonies in regarding the transcendental nature of the absolute truth. Not only did not only did Yashoda catch Krishna who cannot be realized by the best yogis, but she also scalded that supreme person who is constantly praised by Lord Brahma and Shiva and other exalted demigods. With a stick in her hand, Yashoda instilled fear in Krishna, who instilled fear in time and death personified. The verse is spoken with this intention. Krishna was rubbing Kashantam, the eyes, Akshani, which were, let me go with the monkeys. The pot broker, you have broken the pot. And Krishna will say, no, I have not broken. You quickly stood up from there, and in your ankle there is a big silver ankle ornament that has broken. This is Gopal Champu. Where will you get butter today? Who will give you? Now I shall bind you so that you cannot steal butter and eat it with your friends. And you afraid that I will beat you with this stick? While rebuked Krishna, Yashoda lifted the stick as if to beat him, though she would never do such thing. She made him frightened. She pretended to get ready to beat him by scolding him. Lagu Vaishnatoshni. He cried excessively, fearing a beating because of having done wrong, Kritagasam. Because of tears and massacre was running from his eyes. Though he desired it, she did not wipe his tears with her hand because of his offense. Krishna desired mother should do before she used to do that. But today she was not doing because he has done mischief. His eyes were slightly agitated with fear, or in fear he cried. He looked up at her while she looked at him. She scolded him in order to make him frightened so that he would become gentle and avoid such acts. O agitated boy, cry baby, greedy boy, monkey lover, thief, from now on I will not give you butter. I will tie you up in the house so that you cannot go anywhere and play. You will not be able to see any of your friends. With these words she raised the stick as if to beat him, but she did not beat him. Or he looked up at her with fear in his eyes, expressing his pain. Then she scolded him, or taking his hand which shook in fear, she scolded him for a short time. Gopal Champu. When she came face to face with him, he tried to cover his ghee-soaked limbs by himself with dust. Seeing this, Yashoda said, if you want to steal in this house, then look at this stick in my hand. When her lotus-eyed son was overcome with fear on hearing this, she threw down her stick. Mother, do not beat me. With a hidden smile he said, but you are a thief. In this way a quarrel began. Oh, you are the king of thieves. Your father's lineage is all thieves. In this way the mother argued with the infant who had stolen the ghee. How did the yogurt pot break? It was the Supreme Lord's stick who gave ghee to the monkeys. He who created the monkeys gave it to them. I think that you always taste and eat the fresh ghee meant for sacrifice. After Yashoda scolded the infant as thief, her heart softened. Smiling, but with anger, she said, "You should tell your secret and give up your pride." When his mother said this, her son began weeping. When you ran quickly, now Krishna is saying, when you ran quickly, Yashoda, the pot broke because of being struck by your anklet. What is my fault in this? Inspired by the lords, the monkeys entered the house to steal. When they pulled at the ghee, I caught it. What is my fault? Seeing you holding a stick, I ran away like a thief. Seeing that, I was frightened. You tried to mercilessly beat me without justice. Yashoda spoke with repentance. O best of the thieves with clever words, though you are the son of the king of Vrja, you are fond of monkeys and have the nature of the monkeys. Then Krishna says, so leave me, why you are holding? Let me go to the forest. And then she become afraid. Verse 12. Oh, he said, no, first you throw this stick. First throw this stick. Why between the mother and son there should be a material jad stick? We are loving mother and father, son. Why this stick is between us two? Tyaktva justim. She threw it away because she thought my baby is afraid. Sutam bhitam. She saw my son is he is very fearful to see stick, or he might have fever. So she threw it. Vigyaya arbhak vatsala. Oh, she was so much affectionate. Arbhak means to the, even she was have no child before Krishna. Even the children in the neighborhood were always loved by Mother Yashoda. So how can she beat her own child? Vigya, she was knowing. Arbhak vatsala. She was caring for the children. Yesha kilatam baddam, but then she decided, I must bind him. Damanad, with the rope. Virya Kovida, she was not knowing how powerful is Krishna. Mother Yashoda was always overwhelmed by the intense love for Krishna, not knowing who Krishna was, Kovida, or how powerful he was. Tatta Atatta Virya Kovida, without knowledge of the supremacy, powerful personality of Krishna, because the intense love for Krishna. Because of the maternal affection for Krishna, she never even cared to know who he was. Therefore, when she saw that her son had become excessively afraid, she threw the stick away and desired to bind him so that he would not commit any further naughty activities. Mother Yashoda wanted to bind Krishna not in order to chastise him, but because she thought that the child was so restless that he might leave the house in fear. That would be another disturbance. Therefore, because of full affection, to stop Krishna from leaving the house, she wanted to bind him with rope. Mother wanted to impress upon Krishna that since he was afraid merely to see her stick, she would not perform such disturbing activities as breaking the container of yogurt and butter and distributing its content to the monkeys. Mother Yashoda did not care to understand who Krishna was and how his power is spread everywhere. This is an example of pure love of Krishna. In a Krishna book, Srila Prabhupada wrote, Mother Yashoda could understand that Krishna was unnecessarily afraid. For his benefit, she wanted to allay his fear. Being the topmost well-wisher of her child, Mother Yashoda thought, if the child is too fearful of me, I don't know what will happen to him. Mother Yashoda then threw away her stick. In order to punish him, she thought to bind his hands with some rope. Krishna pleaded, "Don't beat me, Yashoda. If you don't like getting beaten, why did you break the yogurt pot today?" Krishna, "I won't do that anymore, but throw down the stick." Mother Yashoda began to worry. Maybe my son will run away to the forest out of fear. Anger or distress. Three things: fear, anger, or distress. To prevent this, Yashoda threw away the stick and decided to tie up Krishna. Due to being completely absorbed in Krishna's sweetness, Yashoda had no knowledge how powerful he was. Atad viryako vida. She was affectionate because he was a boy, and moreover he was her son. She did not know his powers, since the affection in her heart eclipsed everything else. Etad virya kovida. Or she knew his uncontrollable fickleness, tad virya kovida. She desired to tie him up. Keel indicates certainty or success. Okay. Verse 14. So 10 to 14, this section, Mother Yashoda captured Krishna and tried to bind him. So what was the subject matter of 6 to 9? Krishna breaks the part and flee in fear of Mother Yashoda. Krishna breaks the part and flee in fear of Mother Yashoda. And 10 to 14, Mother Yashoda captured Krishna and tries to bind him. So which verse we are now? 14. 13. 13, okay. Oh, this verse has a very lengthy purport by Laghu Vaishno Toshni. न चांतर न बहिर्यस्य न पूर्वं नापि चापरं पूर्वापरं बहिश्चान्तर जगतो यो जगच्चयः तं मत्वा आत्मजं अव्यक्तं मर्त्यलिङ्गम् अधोक्षजं गोपिकावलखले दामना बबन्ध प्राकृतं यथा. The Supreme Personality Godhead has no beginning and no end. No exterior, no interior. No front, no rear. In other words, he is all pervading. Because he is not under the influence of the element of time, for him there is no difference between the past and future. He exists in his own transcendental form at all times, being absolute, beyond relativity. He is free from distinction between cause and effect, although he is the cause and effect of everything. That unmanifested person, avyaktam, who is beyond the perception of senses, adokshajam, had now appeared as a human child, and Mother Yashoda, considering him her own ordinary child, bound him to the wooden mortar with rope. Srila Prabhupada in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna is described as Supreme Brahm, Param Brahm, Param Dham, Pavitram, Parabham Bhama. The word Brahm means greatest. Krishna is greater than greatest, being unlimited and all-pervading. How can it be possible for all-pervading to be measured or bound? Then again, Krishna is the time factor. Therefore, he is all-pervading, not only in this space, but also in time. Time and space both. We have measurement of time, but although We are limited by past, present, and future. For Krishna, these do not exist. Every individual person can be measured, but Krishna has already shown that, although he also is an individual, the entire cosmic manifestation is within his mouth. All these points considered, Krishna cannot be measured. How then did Yashoda want to measure him and bind him? We must conclude that this took place simply on the platform of pure transcendental love. This was the only cause. Advaitam achyuttamanadimananta rupam adyam purana purusham navayovanam cha vedeshu adurlabham durlabham adurlabham atma bhakto govindamadi purusham tamaham bhajami. Everything is one because Krishna is the supreme cause of everything. Krishna cannot be measured or calculated by Vedic knowledge. Vedeshu durlabham. He is available only to the devotees. Adurlabham atma bhakto. Devotees can handle him because he acts on the basis of loving service. Bhaktya mam abhijanati. The mother Yashoda wanted to bind him. Krishna book. He did not know the power of her child or that it was impossible for her to bind the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Mother Yashoda was thinking that Krishna was her tiny child, and she did not know that the child had no limitation. With the rope of her intense tied up Krishna, all-pervading Lord who binds up everyone from Brahma to the blade of grass with the modes of material nature. The verse is spoken with this intention. Limited objects can be bound by surrounding them on the outside. But where can one tie the rope on he who is greater than the greatest and who has no inside and outside? The verse established that Krishna space and time as well. Not be limited by past, present, and future. The unlimited can bind the limited. But in this case, it was opposite. The entire universe, which is created by his power, cannot bind Krishna. Then what to speak of an insignificant rope within this universe? One cannot say that the little boy cannot bind up the universe, because Yashoda saw the entire cosmic manifestation within his mouth. How then could Yashoda bind him? The answer is given. Krishna was bound by uncommon motherly love of Yashoda, who thought of him as her own, as her son, Matva Atmajam. Matva means his opinion. Atmajam means his own son. Though Krishna is all powerful, by his unconceivable energy, he allows himself to be controlled by the love and bound by his beloveds. Krishna is called Avyaktam. Why? Unmanifested. Because under the control of love, he conceals his powers and appears like a human being. Martya Lingam. He conceals his power. Even though he is beyond material senses, perception, adhokshajam. The power of Yashoda's love bound up the Lord, who is the aggregate of all consciousness, just as one binds an ordinary child, prakritam. Now this is very lengthy. Jiva Goswami writes, however, the Lord has no inside and outside. There was a martyr which has fallen in the yard near the front door. There were 2 trees growing there. There were 2 arjun trees in Braj, which granted wishes, Hari once. which granted wishes, means they were from the time of the father of Nanda Baba Prajanya, and Brajavasis were going there and is tying thread and praying to them, and they get their wishes fulfilled. So because the both trees have served the Brajavasis for a long time, and they were also blessed, cursed and blessed by Narad, therefore they became the attraction for Krishna's mercy. Now Laghu Vaishnu Toshni. What strength of prem in Yashoda, what strength of prem in Yashoda, he has nothing outside him because he is spread everywhere. And contrary to that, he has nothing inside him. He has nothing previous to him or after him. Without being the cause, without being the effect, he is the universe. How can he be bound up by rope, which is manifested from a portion of the energy of the universe, which arises from his energy? Fire cannot be burned by fire. The negative na is repeated to strengthen the statement. The word cha means though. In spite of his powers, she bound him. Because the phrase of the relative clauses refer to him. Because of the relationship of ya to tam, his swarup is indicated in those clauses. How would he be bound like a material child? He had the form of that looked like a human child. Then how can you say he has no inside and outside? His form is beyond sense knowledge. Adhokshajam. नित्य अव्यक्तोऽपि भगवान् ईक्षते निज शक्तितः तं ऋते परमात्मानं कः पश्येत् अमितं प्रभुम्. The Lord, eternally invisible, is seen by his Shakti, energy. Without his mercy, who can see Paramatma, the unlimited master, Narayan Adhyatma? He cannot be seen by anyone, thus he is called Avyakt. His very nature, however, in his inconceivable power, by which he is either manifest or unmanifest. Aravagadeva asya visarajan anena athako veda yata avrabhava. The devatas are younger than him. Who then can tell whence he has come into being? Rigved. Inconceivable objects are beyond logical explanation. Achintya khalo ye bhavatam tarke na yogyet prakriti bhyah param yatto tad achintya salakshanam. Mahabharata. Inconceivable objects are beyond logical explanation. Objects beyond the material world have this inconceivable quality. Shrutestu shabda multavat. The scripture is the main evidence for non-material subjects. Brahma Sutra 2.127. Madhva has quoted the following from Shruti and Puranas. The Lord is not grass, is not small, is not average size, but is also of average size, not spreading everywhere. Narsingha Tapani Upanishad. The Lord is not heavy, not small, but is heavy and small at all times. He has no colors at all, but he is black with a reddish eyes. Because of his endowment of powers, Bhagavan is said to have contrary characteristics. Kurma Purana. The Lord is beyond inconceivable and conceivable, is spiritual and material, is fiery and gentle, is courageous and cowardly, is great and small. He is pervading and not pervading. He is fiery and fiery. He is fiery and not fiery. He has his face everywhere and nowhere. Narsingha Tapani Upanishad. Lord himself says in Bhagavad Gita, Maya tatamidam sarvam jagat avyakt murtina. And then simultaneously two opposite conditions, visible and invisible, without inside and outside, can occur because of the inconceivable, unlimited, contrary and non-contrary Shakti of Lord. Thus Yashoda could see the universe in his mouth, though he was seated on her lap. All of the ropes were always 2 finger too short, because Lord is endowed with natural, inconceivable powers. The pastime cannot be considered the work of Maya, illusion. If he has such great powers, anything is really easily accomplished by him. Why did she not see his grandeur? She thought of him as her son. Because of her full ras of Vatsalya, his powerful portion was covered. She bound him around the waist. That is not mentioned because it is well known from the name Damodar. Hari once, however, says, Damana chaivo udre badhva pratyo baddha ulkhale. He was bound by a cord around his waist to the murder. She bound him so that it was not painful, but because she feared he would run away in fear. The murder was not within the gate of the house, it was in front of the door. Since he went towards the 2 sacred arjun trees, pulling the murder later, the trees' sacred nature will be explained later. The great fortune of Yashoda is described in 2 verses. Sanatana Goswami. He has no inside and outside, he has no previous or later part, since he is by nature beyond conception, being a form of eternity, knowledge and bliss. This indicates his all-pervasive nature. The negative na is repeated to strengthen the statement. The word cha means though, in spite of his powers, she bound him. Or he cannot be bound because he is all pervading like the sky. He is inside and outside. He has no cause, purvam, and effect, aparam. He is beyond conception because one form. Moreover, it is not possible to tie him up. He is inside and outside, cause and effect. Moreover, he is beyond the senses, adokshajam, because he is a very fine, avyaktam. But he has manifested human form by his mercy. Or the thought of him as her son, who had been saved from the crashing cart as if born again, adokshajam. Like lying on the like trying an elephant to post, she tried him with soft rope used for churning, made by the cowards, to the mother which he had brought for stealing the butter, as if he were an ordinary child, prakritim yatha. Or though he had an attractive form with soft limbs like normal children, she tied him up. She did this because her heart was flooded with affection for him as his mother, Gopika, and wanted to protect him, Gopa. She tied him around the waist. This is not stated. It is well known by his name Damodar, Harivansh, same verse. Now, before we are going to the next 15 to 17, Krishna's opulence, he cannot be bound by anyone. Now we can have a little discussion. Yes, we have finished almost 10 verses. Any comment, question? I think this is the past time everybody, every Kartak hears again and again. I think most of the things are quite clear.
Prabhuji, we have one question in our question bank.
Yes.
How does a devotee know what to do and what to do and when to do it?
Oh, what to do first and what to do next? We have a purport in the why Yashoda went to save the milk and leaving Krishna behind. In that purport, it is written, and Prabhupada quoted the verse from Bhagavad Gita, Tesham Satta Yuktanam. So Krishna from inside guide the devotee what he should do first and what he should do second. That is from that purport of maybe verse number 6 or so.
5. Verse number 5.
5 or 6 somewhere.
So it means that Krishna will guide us what to do and
So
what to
pure devotees are always guided by Supreme Lord, and they have to do what is necessary for God's pleasure. Like Bhisham Pitama, Bhisham Pitama was guided to fight against Krishna. So there are something which Krishna guide the pure devotees, which appears apparently different, but it works. So this is from that purport. Intuition and all this, read the 2-3 purport and then make a note. Anybody else has any question or comment? Yes?
Just by seeing the stick in our hand, Krishna was afraid of it.
He showed that he is afraid. Actually, not within, because he knew that mother has a deep love. She is not going to beat him in any case. But he just show the fear. Bhitavat, just like as if he is afraid. But internally he was not afraid, knowing the mother's affection.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Why Yashoda Ma is saying that Krishna's, you are in the lineage of these, it means his father is, why she is lineage?
This is always mother will say, not you only, your whole family is like that. This is a typical household words they use like that. Not Nanda Baba is not thief, but she's saying, but she wanted to say, the whole family is like that. You are giving bad name to the family. Something is written by Chakravarti Bhat. This is his mood. This is Yashoda's, controlling power over the Krishna and the whole family because of our affection. This is what usually we say. Yes.
When you grow in a village, these things are quite normal, being tied up. I was being tied up all the time. You know, you get tied up, you get do this, you get do that. You know, in a village, this is a typical thing, isn't it, Prabhu?
Yeah, it's just natural, but what generally it is said, or then you are doing all mistakes. The whole family is like, I said, these are just phrases normally used in a household between the mothers and children and all this.
So, Prabhu, what a transcendental quality of Krishna was shown by this pastime? Aishwarya with Vatsalya.
Say again.
What a transcendental quality of Krishna was shown by this pastime?
Many things, I think.
I think the first one is just we read this verse. He is beyond time and space, but he is controlled by the love of Mother Yashoda. The one sentence which Chakravarti Pad has written, that from Brahma to the blade, everybody is bound by the three modes of material nature, and he is the powerful to bind them, but he was bound by Mother Yashoda. This is transcendental nature of Krishna. And then the transcendental nature will come in upcoming verses. That though so many ropes were connected, it was almost say hundreds of feet, but still his waist was not becoming big and ropes were not becoming small, but still he was not bound. And also all the ropes together were only 2 finger these are all transcendental nature of his pastime in this. Ultimately, the transcendental most important is the love and affection of Mother Yashoda, which control Krishna, and the this facility which is available to Yashoda Gopi is not even available to Brahma, Shiva and Lakshmi. These verses will come.
Thank you, Guru.
Hare Krishna. Okay, no hands up. All right. Shall we continue a little more? Verse number 15. So now Krishna's opulence, his Satya Sankalp Shakti and his Aishwarya Shakti. Taddam badhyamanasya sarvabhaksya kritagasah sarvabhakshasya kritagasasah divyangunam babhuttena sandadhe anyatya gopika. When Mother Yashoda was trying to bind the offending child Kirtagasam, she saw that the binding rope was short by distance of width of 2 fingers. Thus she brought another rope to join it. Here is the first chapter, Prabhupada writes, here is the first chapter in the Krishna's exhibition of his unlimited potency to Mother Yashoda. When she tried to bind him, the ropes was too short. The Lord had already shown his unlimited potency by killing Putana, Shakta, Now Krishna exhibited another vibhuti or display of potency to Mother Yashoda. Unless I agree, Krishna says, Krishna desired to show, you cannot bind me. Thus, although Mother Yashoda, in her attempt to bind Krishna, added one rope after another, ultimately she was failure. When Krishna agreed, however, she was successful. In other words, one must be in transcendental love with Krishna. But that does not mean that one can control Krishna. When Krishna is satisfied with one's devotional service, he does everything himself. Sevanumukhe jivadav swayam spurdhyad. He reveals more and more to the devotee as the devotee advances in this service. The jivadav, this service begins with the tongue, with chanting and with taking the prasad of Krishna. Ada Shri Krishna Namadi न भवेद ग्रहायम इंद्रियैः सेवानुमुखे जीवादो स्वयं स्फुरते अध. Krishna book. But when she tried to bind him, she found that the rope she was using was too short by 2 inches, 2 fingers. So she gathered more ropes from the house and added to it. But still she found the same shortage. Chakravartipad writes, though Yashoda could bind her child by love, and though the size of her lap was small, still the small form of boy was all powerful. This is shown in 3 verses, 15, 16, 17. Krishna was thinking, I cannot be bound up because I must do my daily duties of stealing yogurt and playing with my friends. Krishna's Vibhuti Shakti, number 1, the power to show or reveal his opulences, inspired by his Satya Sankalpa Shakti, the power to fulfill each and every desire of the Lord. So the 2 energies were working, therefore Yashoda was not able to bind him. Suddenly entered into his body. They entered into the body of Krishna at that time. Thus the rope remained 2 fingers too short, no matter how many ropes Yashoda tried to gather. She wanted to tie him up because he was her son, Swa, Lagu Vaishna Toshni. Since she would not ignore teaching him a lesson, as she could with other boys. The first rope was 2 fingers short by chance. All the later ropes tied together were also 2 fingers too short through his Vibhuti Shakti. Vibhuta Shakti. Because Shakti is there, so it is Vibhuta. If it is Vibhuti, means automatically Shakti. Because of his stubborn nature as a small child, he could not be brought under control if two elements. Number one, special intense prem of his devotee, special intense love of his pure devotee, and his special mercy arising because of that prem were lacking. As long as these two things are not there, he cannot be controlled. He is too stubborn. Later it said, seeing her fatigued, seeing her means Yashoda, fatigue, he agreed to be tied. 18. She got other ropes. Hearing the mother's call, the child, while he cried, neighboring gopis arrived and left as they gave her more ropes. This relish little bit Gopal shampoo. When she began tying him up, he became so angry that he breathed with a hissing sound. He said, Rohini, where have you gone with Balaram? Because you are not here, she is binding me up. Please come quickly. Because Rohini was far away, she could not hear, because she was gone to Upananda's house with Balaram. But the other women who were neighbors, who had previously scolded him, heard his cries and came. They left and said, has he done anything at your house? So that she would remember her own previous words. Ignoring their words, she took an old string from her hair and began binding him around the waist to the martyr near the outer door, just as Rudra's followers bound up Daksh to teach him a lesson. But the string was 2 fingers too short. She took another silk string from her hair and tied the two together, but still the string was 2 fingers short. Even when the other woman gave the churning rope, she could not tie him up. Just as cloud touching a far mountain appears not to touch it, the rope around his waist appeared to be 2 fingers too short. 16. Yadasi tadapi nyonam tenanyadapi sandadhe tadapi dvayangulam nyonam yajada datta. This new rope also was shod by a measurement of 2 fingers. And when another rope was joined to it, it was still 2 fingers too short. As many ropes as she joined, all of them felt their shortness could not be overcome. Krishna book. In this way, she collected all the ropes available at home. But when the final knot was added, she saw that the rope was still 2 inches too short. Another rope was joined, but still the total was 2 short by chance. The first rope was 2 fingers short. Then, seeing her endeavor befitting her maternal mood, his Vibhuti Shakti manifested itself, and every time the rope was 2 fingers short. Okay. Verse 17. Evam swage damani, all the ropes of the house. Yashoda sandadhyati api, or she connected, she tied one with the all. Gopinam susumyantinam, the other gopis were smiling. Her friends elderly. Smayanti, and she was also smiling, Yashoda. Vishmita bhavat, and she was also astonished. Why she was astonished? That is in the purport. Thus Mother Yashoda joined whatever ropes were available in the household. But still she failed in her attempt to bind Krishna. Mother Yashoda's friends, the elderly gopis in the neighborhood, were smiling and enjoying the fun. Similarly, Mother Yashoda, although laboring in that way, was also smiling. All of them were struck with wonder. Actually, this incident was wonderful because Krishna was only a child with small hands. To bind him should have required only a rope not more than 2 feet long. All the ropes in the house combined together might have been hundreds of feet long, but still he was impossible to bind, for all the ropes together were still too short. Naturally, Mother Yashoda, her gopis friend, thought, how is this possible? Seeing this funny affair, all of them were smiling. The first rope was short by the measurement of the width of the 2 fingers, and after the second rope was added, it was still 2 fingers too short. If the shortness of the rope were added together, it must have been to the width of the hundreds of fingers. Certainly, this was astonishing. This was another exhibition of Krishna's inconceivable power to his mother and his mother's friends. Yashoda was smiling, but she was astonished. How was it happening? All the elderly gopis in the neighborhood were laughing. In her astonishment, Yashoda thought, a rope of 100 hasta, hasta means hand, it means 150 feet, does not fit around my son's waist, which measure only 1 fist. His small waist is not getting any bigger, and the ropes are certainly not getting any shorter. But still, the rope does not reach around him. This is the first amazing things. Furthermore, when I tie the rope together, each time it is 2 fingers short, not 3, not 4 finger. That is the second amazement. Amazing thing. Were broadly smiling, Lagu Vaishnava Toshni. They possessive case indicate that Yashoda, ignored them. Though she joined ropes with great determination, the rope were always insufficient to tie him. Her friends laughed in great wonder, but she ignored them. She joined all the ropes in the house, including the churning ropes, or she became united with by absorption in them. When the gopis smiled, she smiled out of astonishment. On that day, Rohini had gone with Balaram to Upananda's house on an invitation. If Rohini had been there, she would have prevented Yashoda from tying up Krishna. Sanatana Goswami writes, this is the sweetness of Lord, revealing his power during his infant pastime. Though he was limited sized child, unlimited ropes could not bind him. This shows his unlimited nature. One object cannot be simultaneously limited and unlimited. Was his limitation only an appearance or real? If the limitation is only apparent, it is actually false, not true. Like the sun appearing to be measurement of a hand, though it is actually many yojans in diameter. If it is a real limitation, then if you say he is also unlimited, people will laugh. The limitation is like being able to hold a sapphire in your hand. This limitation is the rule concerning material object. However, tarka pratisthana, The spiritual is beyond the material logic. Since the Lord is beyond logic, because his inconceivability and power, all contradictions are resolved in the Lord. Achintya khalo ye bhavatam tarkena yojyate. Same verse from Maha. This is from Iskand Puran, another verse. Inconceivable objects are beyond logical explanation. Objects beyond the material world, have this inconceivable quality, Skanda Purana. The Lord is not heavy, not small. This is the another Kurma Purana. Now, this is the verse number 18. Oh, now 18 to 21. Krishna's Bhakta Vatsalya and glorious position of Mother Yashoda. So we can do, I think, one verse 18. Swamato svenagatraya vistrata kabarasrajaha drishtva parisharmam Krishna. Swamatu, his own mother. Swena, perspiring. Gatra, his our limbs. She was perspiring. Vistara kabar sarja, all the hairs and the flowers in the hairs are undone. Drishtva, when Krishna observed that. Parisharmam, the hard labor of the mother. Krishna at that time, Kripaya asked, he became merciful. Swabandhan, and then he himself got bound. Because of Mother Yashoda's hard labor, Parishram, her whole body became covered with perspiration, Swena, Gatre, and the flowers and calm were falling from her hairs. It means her whole Sringhar, her whole hairs, cloths, body, she was not aware of that, was falling from the hairs. When the child Krishna saw his mother thus fatigued, he became merciful unto her and agreed to be bound. When Mother Yashoda and other ladies finally saw that Krishna, although decorated with many bangles and other jeweled eye ornaments, could not be bound with all the ropes available in the house, they decided that Krishna was so fortunate that he could not be bound by any material condition. Thus they gave up the idea of binding him. But in the competition between Krishna and his devotee, Krishna sometimes agrees to be defeated. Thus Krishna's internal energy, Yoga Maya, was brought to work, and Krishna agreed to be bound by Mother Yashoda. In attempting to bound her son, perspiring, and the garland on her head fell down. Then Lord Krishna appreciated the hard labor of his mother, and being compassionate upon her, he agreed to be bound by the ropes. As you cannot bind Krishna, these are the ladies saying, her friends, Yashoda, as you are not bind Krishna, you cannot bind Krishna even with all ropes in the house, when it must be concluded that it is his good fortune, that it should not be. Listen, Yashoda, give up this attempt. Now what Yashoda is saying? Though the village woman advised in this way, Yashoda was determined. Even if evening comes, at that time Krishna looked at Yashoda. It was early morning. And Yashoda said, even evening comes, I must find out just once the extent of my son's waist. Yashoda wanted to teach a lesson to her son. In her persistence, she would not give up her attempt to bind the Lord. In the competition between Krishna and his devotees, the devotee's determination always prevails. Thus, seeing his mother's fatigue, Krishna gave up his own persistence, became merciful, and allowed him to be bound, to be tied. Krishna's mercy, which reigns, Krishna's mercy, which reigns as the king of all the potencies and eliminating all others, melt the heart. So, see the Krishna's mercy potency is the king of all the potencies. When she manifests, all other disappears. Or eliminates all others. Melt the heart of the lard and turns into the butter. This mercy melt the heart of lard and makes it into butter. Appearance of Krishna's mercy made his Satya Sankalp and Vibhuti Shakti immediately disappear. The distance of the two fingers was filled by the devotee's effort, number one, that is hard work, parisharmam, and the Lord's causeless mercy, kripa, Krishna kripa. Bhakta Nishtha, firm faith of the devotees, seen in his tireless endeavor to serve and worship the Lord, and the Swanishta, the steady quality of the Lord, which brings forth his mercy upon seeing the devotee's effort and fatigue, cause Krishna to be bound. The ropes will remain two finger too short. But when Bhakta Nishta and Swanishta means Krishna Nishta, are present, the Lord can be bound. In this pastime, Krishna showed Yashoda and the whole world that only love can bind the Supreme Lord. This is the message. Though one is situated in Prem, one cannot control the Lord. If he has a deficiency in the Lord's special mercy, and he sees a deficiency in the special line of a devotee. These two become present. This is indicated in the second line. There should be no deficiency in the devotee. If there is a deficiency, then there will be deficiency in the mercy of the Supreme Lord. Krishna Swayam Bhagavan Swa, who performed pastime to attract all minds by mercy, agreed to be bound. Seeing his own mother Swa with great affection for her than he had for himself. Yashoda has more affection for Krishna than Krishna has for himself. He became merciful. Unable to tolerate seeing her suffer, he accepted to be bound up, though it was difficult. The word Matu of the mother indicates the main reason, her great motherly affection. Giving up his nature of infantile stubbornness, he became bound just by the second piece of rope. Since his Vibhuta Shakti lost hostility to being tied by the rope when he became fixed on being merciful. No other ropes was needed. She had become tired because he had to deal with a child strong as a young elephant, and he had to search for rope. Krishna, who performed pastime to agreed to be bound. Seeing his own mother with greater affection for her than he had for himself, so Krishna has more affection for Yashoda than for himself, okay? He became merciful. Unable to tolerate seeing her suffer, same thing. Or seeing her great endeavor, seeing her perspire, and being pained by her effort, out of mercy he allowed himself to be tied up by his mother. Garland had fallen from her hair, was strewn about, or both hair and garland were in disarray. When frustrated and depressed, Yashoda stopped trying. Then independent Krishna kindly allowed her to bind him. Once Yashoda became very angry with loaded-eyed Krishna, she brought him by the side of a cart and scalded him again and again. Trying to rope around his stomach, she bound him to the mortar. saying, "Go around if you can." She returned to her household. That is the end of today's class, I think. Evam samdarshita he anga harina bhrittavasyata swavashena krishena yasyedam seshwaram vase. Now some philosophy is coming. O Parikshit, this entire universe with its great exalted demigods like Lord Shiva, Brahma and Indra is under the control of Supreme Personality of Godhead. Yet the Supreme Lord has one transcendental attribute. He comes under the control of his devotees. This was now exhibited by Krishna in this pastime. Sri Krishna Chandra Bhagavan ki, Damodhar Leela ki, Nitai Gaur Premanande. Yes, Prabhus, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Can I ask a question?
Yes.
I heard once another version of this Leela that finally Krishna could be bound only when small Radharani came and gave the ribbon from her hair. Only at that moment Krishna was bound. Have you heard this?
Krishna, what say again?
I heard another version when little Radharani came when gopis were trying to bind Krishna. And only when she gave the ribbon from her hair, he could be bound. Have you heard about this?
We do hear such Rasika commentaries. Only the last rope which came from the Barsana bound Krishna from the Birjabhasi Bhav.
There's a version that the other thing is that what do you call the braids, the hair tie, which he tried to bind him up with that. Finally, when he managed to tie him up, those are the two ropes that tied him up, and all the other ropes fell off.
No, she started with that. In one of the commentary we read that she started with the hair ties. Anyway, the whole idea is only by love Krishna can be bound. So Radharani's ribbon is okay. There is a Rasika. There are many, so many. I mean, so this pastime in Kartik we speak for 7 days or something like that with Damodar Ashtakam. It takes, so there are lot much spice you can put into it.
I mean, it goes on practically for a half day. This like a festival trying to tie him up starts in the morning, but by the time he's tied up, Mother Jashoda says, "It's quite late. I have to go do everything. We have to go to the Diwali fete, so stay here." So it's like take him almost the whole day tying him up. Many wonderful things in this pastime.
This is the climax of the Vatsalya Prem.
I heard that actually, he didn't get untied till the evening. So, like, he's tied early in the morning, and the Maharaj didn't untie him till,
No. Boys came, Balaram came, they said, "Who bound you?" And then nobody can untie because it was Vatsalya Prem. Only Vatsalya can open, or the Madhurya can open, nor the Sakha cannot open. So he cannot be opened by anybody, only Nanda Baba opened him. That is after the both trees fell down after that.
Yes.
Is it okay? We end it here. Krishna Balaram ki jai. Hare.
Recording stopped.
Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Radha Rani ki jai.